This time on Kustom Works, I will be mainly inside the workshop with the heater on. Let's get into that warm workshop now. So this time on Kustom Works, we're going to be looking at the ramp on the 60s truck. Like, the ramp is just so complicated. It's got all that like tilting, sliding, electronics, clipping in, just all of that. But hopefully we're going to be able to remove it from the car, ready for painting and detailing, to be put back on the car when the car is painted. But it's going to be really hard because that thing is like, it's all made like, I think it's 6 or 8 mil plates. Incredibly heavy though, but it has to be to hold that, you know, that super cool 60s chop. Anyway, let's get on. Let's see how this goes, and let's see if I lose any of my fingers. Right, so now finally it's time to get the bike off the back, and we're going to take the whole mechanism out that holds the bike, so that can be prepped and painted, but also so we can prep and paint all the body that's like down the sides that you can't really see, but it's all got to be done. So first thing to do is get the bike off of here. And now to remove the ramp, and this is going to be really, really tough because it weighs quite a lot. May be about to destroy the bin because this is so heavy and we can't move it. We're going to try and put it on the bin. Will the bin crush? Who knows? It's quite a nice bin actually. It's quite a nice bin. Right, so the bin survived. We've moved the thing, and now we've got it on this like this small table that you might use at a barbecue or family meal. The thing is so heavy, and the bin survived. It'll be receiving a medal this February at a reception with the King, and yeah, it deserves it. You know, it really has been. What a bin!
And why didn't we film it?
Why didn't we film it? I'll tell you why we didn't film it, because it was so damn dangerous. I didn't want to see one of us getting our leg broke and then crying. Or maybe Lee, actually. No, not really. No, but yeah, it was so dangerous we couldn't even film it. It was too dangerous to film. We're going to strip it down, we're going to detail it, make a few modifications. It could work a little bit better.
Put some lifting eyes on it.
Put some lifting eyes on it for a big crane to just lift it next time. But more important than that, come with me. We now have the whole of the 60s truck fundament out, and now we can get right up there. I mean, right up there, and get this all sorted out. You know, this is just glued on die bond at the minute. It needs all fiberglassing and everything. A lot of work to be done. So then, we took the ramp off the 60s truck, and I've got to admit, it was a week ago, and I've done quite a bit of work since, but I've not filmed it, but a lot of it's just sanding, and I've got to say, you know, thanks to everyone who's still watching through the Bodywork times. The Bodywork times are a little bit dull, but, you know, we'll get there. I'll try and make it, you know, more entertaining than maybe it is. But let's have a look at what I've done in the last week. So I've done a lot of work on the door, smoothed a lot of this out, got all of this sort of dialed in, and I know now that these bits fit those other long bits that fit down there. In fact, you know what? I'm going to get one, just so you know what I'm on about. So this is the bit that fits on that bit, and it closes between here and the ramp. So just as that fits on there. This will all be, you know, nicely panel gapped up to that, and they fit on when the car's, you know, got the bike on, or when, in fact when it's not, it just hides that nasty gap there and just cloaks in the ramp. All of that's looking pretty good. I've also done a lot of work inside this, because of course all of this needs to be bodyworked. I'm still sort of working on that, and it's coming together. But this bit, if we look at this bit, so now I've put ends on here, and when this opens, look at this, everything just clears, and that's its closed position. But there's so many things look like they're going to hit there, but of course they never do. And of course the bullet flap down there, which seems to just work again, just winding up the body, but there it is. So that bit's really getting there. I've done all of these, put a bit of a bead down the bottom so we don't get too much flexing. That's just some aluminium and fiberglassed on. I've bodyworked all in here, and you see that the bulkhead, the doghouse, is in there, and all of this bit was plated in this checker plate aluminium, and then this part I've glassed over. Why have I glassed it over? Like it's a pond or something, because it's fully sealed. The reason is, I mean, I've put a pipe down there because when the ramp comes onto this, the whole car sits a little bit nose down, so water drains down it. And when it got caught in the rain on the ramp the other week, it just put a lot of water in the cab. Okay, it didn't have the bulkhead on, but it's just going to fill the bulkhead up with water. So I'm going to put a drain in there going down to underneath the car, and that should stop, you know, this bit just being full of water all the time. But this is all super strong. This is in, and I'm just putting here, I've put some foam because I'm just going to blend the doghouse in with this outer a little bit. Yes, I've got to fill this hole. But everything's going really good and everything's coming together. It is just a bit dull and time consuming. Let's have a look inside the cab. So then, inside the cab, we got the doghouse in, and we've been doing some work around here, tidying up this roll cage. I've just been boxing in. Still a lot of foam around this where it's been stuck, all ready to be upholstered. And then there's areas such as this where, like, I've got this straight piece going up, but here under this blob of foam, you know, there's a really weird intersection between this and that. So I'll put the foam in, and what I'll be able to do is cut that back and sculpt that into a nice intersection between here and there. And foam really is great for that. You know, you want to go from something square to something round and have it all blend together. Do that in foam first, glass over it, and it'll look a lot better. And also in here, I've done above the screen, I've added this bit in that covers just so much, so many sins, it's unreal. But all of this stuff, it's all got to be boxed out, because you can't just cover where there's gaps. You can't just throw carpet at things and expect it's going to look good, because it won't. But with all this boxing in, it does make it a lot easier. And of course, Mitafix and Instastick all the way there, never coming off. You know, didn't have to do any welding in the cab or anything. It just works out a lot tighter and a lot better. So the next thing really we're going to be looking at in here. You know, there really is. There's an elephant in the room, and the elephant in the room is there's no dashboard. So we need to look at that dashboard, maybe make a dashboard for this. And of course, it's got to be mad, isn't it? You know what I mean? You just can't put the standard dash back in here. We need something sci-fi, something crazy, something 60s, something a bit Ed Roth. And I think we can do that. I've got some bits laying around. I have ideas. So stay tuned. You'll see it here on Kustom Works. Another thing I've made, and sort of wish I'd made this quite a while ago. See, down here is where all the electric stuff works, and I've made just a nice quick and easy steel cover just to cover that up, because as we're working on the car more and more, a lot of Lee's very delicate work just gets my big foot on it sometimes, so I thought I'd cover that up. Another thing I've been working on is these door shuts. You know, all the door shuts to this door. Of course, this door has been modified. You know, it's half the back door and half the front door. The amount of modification in this door is unbelievable. So obviously a lot of gaps, sort of welding to cover up, stuff like that. But it really is getting there, and the doors shut, sit on their seals now, and all that sort of important things that make just a shed into an actual car. Okay then, so as if the 60s truck isn't like as mind-bendingly complicated enough just in like making that whole body, it has that extra thing, and that extra thing is that it can pick a motorbike up off the floor, electrically load it on the back, or via remote control. But that's taken a lot of fabrication, a lot of work. So at the minute we've got it off. So let's have a look at the component parts of what makes all of that happen. So here, this is the main rail. This is just about all me and Lee can lift. It is it's 8mm plate, all folded. Really is a hefty bit of kit. You know, there's a lot of this that's drilled and tapped for all the other components that bolt onto it. It's got brackets underneath that hold the rams and stuff. And what we're doing at the minute is getting all this cleaned up, ready for some paint, because we're about there with this bit. We know it works, but we've just got to detail it and make it look good. So that is the main ramp the bike sits in. At this end, see, we've got the winch for the ram, and also we've got these two tubes that hold those gas rams that just ease the bike. Yeah, that bit's so cool. Probably my favourite bit, I think, that. And then here, this is the bit that actually does like this does the rocking and holds the runners that make this bit move back and forward. So this bit can move backwards and forwards while that bit moves. So we can move that, and this bit tilts, and they're like two things together. We've got these enormous bearings on. And you imagine these bearings, the size of them, and all they're ever going to do is turn from there to there. They will last till the end of time. This is a slightly more complicated thing. It's got the mounts for the rams in it, lots of tapped bolt holes where the runners fit in, quite complicated. Even more complicated than that, as we move to the bench, is the sled that the front wheel of the bike drops into. This thing is off the chart complicated. So here we have it, the sled that the wheel goes in. So of course the wheel comes up here, the axle, when this has got its latches mounted on the inside, clicks into the bear claw latches, and this is what drags the bike up the ramp. Under here we use some roller skates that hook into the bottom of that long ramp, so that this can't come off. It's kind of like a fairground ride. This is what makes it roll up and down. It's got these like metal rollers in it, and they're literally all the way around it. And they keep this absolutely crack straight in that channel. What I've been doing, radius in all the corners, making all this, so this just goes up smooth. There's big gaps here before, and just generally making it look more pretty. Pretty, yeah, pretty. And I always say factory, but really, what factory? So yeah, a lot of grinding and stuff, but it just goes to show that this thing, to lift the bike up and do it in an elegant way, and that there's no mechanism actually showing on the truck once the bike's on, has been a real challenge. But this stage of just making, you know, like the hardware look pretty is quite rewarding, I've got to say. And hopefully this will all bolt back together just as it came to bits when it worked. It's not going to happen, is it? It's going to bolt back together and none of it will fit or work. But let's hope that doesn't happen. And yeah, like I say, this is in the early stages of actual paint prep. The 60s truck is coming on. Right, so just because we don't get a lot of metal work on here, do we? It's normally fiberglass and Bondo, but I know people like sparks and stuff. And also, don't forget, always wear goggles. Tried to make it look prettier than it did because damn, this was ugly. But now it's looking a lot better. So made some radiuses in here, radius this, radius here as well. And this is just about ready to be filled. Here we are then. Etch primed and ready for a little bit of Bondo, a little bit of filler just to make it nice. It's going to need quite a bit of filler, there's a few bits on it, but for now I've got this. I want all this to be perfect. I want it just to be like it came from them, but really weird factory. So what I'll do now, sand refill, and then ta-da! It's been filled and I've got some primer on it, and now I'm just about to give it its final sort of sanding before we add some colour. All the bits of the ramp are done now. Well, not done, but they're ready for paint. What we've done to all of them is we've really wiped them down really well, got all that factory grease off it. Then we've sanded it, etch primed it, and then about 3 coats of high build primer just to get, so we get a bit nicer finish. As you know, the 60s truck is like in a 60s show car style, but it's going to be used every day by the seaside. Up and down the front, it's going to be so cool. We can go pretty show, but we also need some pretty like robust finishes so it can be used every day. So I can now reveal the colours of the 60s truck. Mainly the 60s truck. The hell was that? I think we're having some sort of a problem with the compressor. Probably need to take a look at that. Dimming of lights and stuff, it's never a good sign, is it? Anyway, the colours for the 60s truck. So, you might have seen, I think I put online somewhere, it's going to be white and gold, but there's going to be a third colour. And I can now reveal the third colour that's going to be used on the 60s truck is, well, it's something you're going to have to wait till next week to find out. Got to have some sort of jeopardy in it, come on. Got to make it exciting in some way. Okay, that's all we've got time for this week, but tune in next time. We'll be revealing that third colour. I bet none of you will even sleep thinking about that. It'll be great, honestly. Anyway, don't forget, click, subscribe, do all of that. Share. You know, don't just you go through all this pain. Make someone else suffer. Anyway, I'll be back next time. I thank you very much and good night.